All right, hello everyone. Welcome to 3.5. This is going to be an interesting one. Okay, so we're going to start by talking about toolkit functions. This is video 0. I mentioned in 3.2 that these are really going to come back and be very, very important. Well, now's the time for it, okay? It is incredibly important that you are familiar with these toolkit functions. So if you're not, go right now, open up a tab for 3.2 domain and range. There's a section of the book. You can just Control F, get right to it, finding domains and ranges of the toolkit functions. It has them all listed. Okay. It is incredibly important that you know these shapes and you know how they work. Okay. If you're not super confident with it, I recommend you can make some flashcards with the name of the function and the type of the function on one side of the flashcard and the shape of the function on the other. But otherwise, while you're doing the homework assignments, feel free to keep this tab open right here. You can actually do it that way. Okay. So we're just going to do a brief review and then we'll move on with future videos on actually section 3.5. Okay, so we got a constant function. That's just f of x equals a number. So f of x equals 5, f of x equals 2, stuff like that. You know, the identity function, the line, people are usually pretty good with that. Here's where things start getting a little bit more new for a lot of people. The absolute value function right here is kind of like a v. So an upside down absolute value will be an upside down v, okay? And similarly, this is a quadratic. Most people are pretty okay with this. And if it's upside down, then again, it's going to be a negative quadratic. This is a cubic function. If you ever forget what some of these shapes look like, remember, you can just plug things in. Like, well, maybe this is x cubed, but maybe this is x cubed. I don't know. Plug in some numbers, make a little table. All right, let's say you forget hypothetically. You say, well, what does y equals x cubed kind of look like? So you make a table and put in x values and y values. Well, let's say, well, -2. When we cube -2 times -2 times -2, we get -8. All right, and just continue that logic for other functions, okay? Or for other values, -1 times -1 times -1 is -1, 0. Cube that is 0, 1, cube that is 1, 2, cube that is 8. And if you did plot these points, 0, 0, -1, -1, 1, 1, looks like a line so far. But then we have the point 2, 8, which is going to be like way up here, and the point -2, -8, which is going to be way down there. And you really do see that when you connect all these points, you get the shape of that cubic function we were just talking about. Okay, so if you ever forget, oh wait, which function is this? Or what does this cubed root of x look like? Or something like that. You can just plug in some points and plot it yourself. Okay? And that's going to be very handy for next week's quiz. This week's quiz. For you, it's this week's quiz. For me, it's next week's quiz. All right, this is the reciprocal function, 1 over x. It's got asymptotes on the y-axis and the x-axis. All right, it just flips the numbers over. And this is the reciprocal squared function, which looks very, very similar, right? It's just slightly stretched out. And then it's positive on both sides because when we square a negative number, it becomes positive. All right. And then these ones are very similar to the earlier ones, right? A parabola is a quadratic and it looks up and down like this. The square root function is kind of like half of a sideways parabola. Similarly, the cubed root function, cubed root of x, a sideways cubic function. We'll talk about why that's the case later. All right. That's pretty much it for toolkit functions. Be familiar with these, make flashcards if necessary, and have 2 tabs open when you're working on the homework. All right. Be able to go back and see what those cubic functions look like, and that'll help a lot. All right. Good luck.